Hello. Welcome in. Hello, Jello. Hello again. So I haven't deleted the spam from Kick yet because I want to just look at that message real quick. Pondor, come to us. Nesna.com. What the fuck is that message? You fucking cultist. Jesus. Get out of here. Yeah, I just wanted to make fun of that real quick because that's a interesting recruitment message. Glory to chaos. Yeah, I guess. We had enough cultists to deal with. Oh, hey, look at that. We're right above Dargonus. Hey, let me go do something else real quick. Shit, I forgot that there was actually stuff to do here. I was literally just gonna click this and click off. I forgot there was a... Oh no! Well, yeah, Iconoclast. Okay, we'll do that in a minute. We're going to Dargonus. Begin the scan. We have clicked on the planet. We have done the thing. And obviously, we will go to our palace first. Obviously. Now, who do we bring with us? Wait, if I go to the Administratum, it's going to not force Heinrichs on us. I thought it would. Wait, what? Wait. What companion quest do I have here? So Jai, that I don't care about right now. Oh, okay, so he doesn't need to be in our party. In fact, he needs to not be in our party for this. Okay. Have their own landing zones on the planet? Gotcha. Well, I guess we're just gonna use our base party then. Oh yeah. Hi, kitty. Hi, buddy. Oh my god, story! For the first time in like 2 weeks, we have story. Well, main story, I guess. Motherfucker! I swear to God, if somebody gets shot, the instant we land, I'm a fucking riot. It's never happened. Yeah, it literally hasn't happened on every planet with a main story quest. Just Zito propaganda. Get out of here. The Emperor protects. Welcome home, your lordship. The stately woman in a long full dress uniform makes a graceful curtsy. Her short graying hair does not obscure her stern features. It's McGonagall! Hero worlds are the safest planets. Oh, shut up. Shut your mouth. I'm Clementia Wersarian. Hey, I recognize that name. Court Chancellor of the Von Valancius dynasty. On behalf of all of Dargonus, please accept my deepest condolences on the untimely passing of Theodora von Valancius. Her departure is a terrible blow to us all. But as one star expires, another always flares to life. And although still overcome with bitterness and grief, your subjects hope that you'll become the Trade Dynasty's guiding light in these trying times. Oh, did she not have a portrait at first? Clementia. Abelard offers a reserved nod. She nods in return, and the lines of his brows soften ever so slightly. So, daughter, sister, ex-wife. Scalander. The young man quickly brings a respirator to his burnt face and bows his head courteously. It is way too... Damn it, I do not need to be fucking yawning this early. His raven black hair veils his burns and skull implants, and his thin metal fingers creak quietly as he offers a welcoming gesture. Achilles Scalander. Achilles also didn't originally have a portrait? Well, it's good that they're adding more in. Because the portrait, like, it's so much harder to keep track of people if you don't have a face to put to them. Achilles Scalander, secretary at the administrative department. I hope your journey to Dargonus was not darkened by unwanted troubles. They had some incidents, but those are irrelevant at this moment. Quite right, your lordship. What happened cannot be changed, but you still have great deeds ahead of you. Let us look to the future with hope in our hearts. Does your lordship wish to survey the grounds, or perhaps we could sate your curiosity by answering any questions you might have? Governor Urban Drivestem has been notified of your arrival on Dargonus and will visit the palace shortly. The preparations for the official visit are well in hand, but your lordship still has plenty of time before the meeting. This could be inferred. The guy's busy. He's the governor of a whole fucking planet, and not only just a planet, but the capital planet of my dynasty. So he's busy. Makes sense that he's not just sitting around the palace. Oh man, Clementia, did you say your last name was? Although, I guess... What's this? What about your last name? You heard correctly, your lordship. I am of House Worsarian. Lord Abelard's granddaughter and direct descendant. Okay, granddaughter. I forgot that there's like, that humans lived like hundreds of years in Warhammer. At least if you're rich. Chancellor Worsarian has held her position at the Von Valanci's court for many years. She earned Lord Captain Theodore's respect through acts of great perseverance. There's no room for doubt. Blood had nothing to do with it. The Emperor blesses those who strengthen humanity's domain through their deeds. You have reason to be proud of your progeny. Abelard looks at you in surprise, but then immediately puts on an air of indifference. Thank you, Lord Captain. So why isn't the governor here? Apologies, your lordship. Governor Drivestem's residence is on the other side of the world, by the Administratum Palace of Dargonus. We sent word as soon as you entered the system, but it takes time to travel the great distances of your domain. Chancellor Worsarian appears unruffled, but you cannot shake the thought that the governor's lateness is a subtle political gesture, designed to test the limits of what is acceptable when it comes to interacting with a new rogue trader. I'd like to rest. Where are my chambers? They are very close, just down the hall. That is also where the study and the audience chamber are. His face brightens with a pearly white smile, restoring some of his former good looks. Lady Theodora's study has remained locked since her last departure, but on account of your arrival, we've arranged for it to be tidied up. It is ready whenever you may need it. Drivestem as well. There's Abelard voice line. Drivistem? Nah, it's Drivestem. I refuse. I refuse. Like Pitax. I will never call it Pitax. Pitax. It is Pitax. It will always be Pitax. And it will always be Drivestem. I apologize for my bluntness, but I have a request to make. Perhaps before the meeting takes place, the illustrious Lord Captain could spare a few moments for a conversation with me. I'm certain that you will find my report on the state of affairs in the Von Valanci's Protectorate most useful. Alright, so I did say that once we landed on the planet, that's when we would level up. And it is time. Okay, so We do want to boost our agility. Okay, so I can max out the agility by the time we get through the assassin line. That's good. Let's see. What do we have? Decent attack use. Medicae I could use. I guess having another person that can use medkits is not a bad idea. Oh, demolition is based off of agility? I did not realize. I think that's fine. I think it's fine to put those points into Medicae. Like, I could do tech use, but, like, I already have somebody who's better at tech use. Hmm. Who? Yeah, see, like, you got Jai, you got Pascal. They're always going to be infinitely better at tech use than I am. Whereas if I do Medicae, you have Cabela, you have Jai, you have Pascal, who all beat me out in terms of Medicae skill. But not by much. And if I actually train in Medicae, then I can actually use medkits. Right? Yeah, they're only like 20 points away from me instead of like 40 to 50. All right, Abelard. Your turn. First off, carouse, right? He is my carouse person. There's nobody that comes even... Yeah, look at this. Nobody even comes within 50 of him in carouse. Oh, I guess we do weapon skill here. Yeah, that's fine. All right, you. Adira, what are we doing with you? Perception is pretty high. Her willpower is already pretty damn boosted. Ballistic and weapon skill are absolutely useless to her. I kind of wish that I could boost her toughness. I'm not gonna lie. Just get her some extra health. But if we can't do that, then I guess perception. And then she is my Lord Warp person. I have nobody that comes even close. My next highest is 55. Hello! Welcome in, welcome in. Did somebody get their skull shot? No! Surprisingly enough. We actually got through the first cutscene on the planet, and everybody survived. It's the first time we've fucking seen that. It's crazy, but it did happen. So we want strength on her. Can't believe that her strength is low. Why is her strength low? No deads, it's a miracle. I know, right? All right, what do we do with you? Demolition? Wait, before I do that, let me go to her inventory. Okay, let me see about some. Let me see something real quick. Blade Dancer Swift. It does prefer avoiding. You even have the ability to parry ranged attacks. I actually did not know that. Damn it! I was hoping that this would have something that would be like, okay, you get. You could use agility for damage instead of strength. Jesus, anytime the Voidborn character scores a critical hit, there's a 10% chance to double the damage. That's wild. Now determined by my weapon skill instead of intelligence. Okay, that's good to know. I did not know that. I already saw that. Damn. It looks like there's not. What happened at the cutscene? I met two people. I met Abelard's granddaughter, who's like a steward. And then there's a guy with a bird face called Scalamander. Or Scalander. Wait. Maybe? Damn it. Oh shit, so Medicaid is actually really important. Because that's how I use... Okay. Damn. Okay, so she does still need strength to be able to deal damage. Which sucks because she gets a penalty to strength because of her fucking race, I guess. So we want to boost Medicaid. Then 100%. Every point we put in Medicaid. Hi, come on. Come on down. Come on. Spoiled little shit. You spoiled little brat. So, oh, wait. If I do this. Okay, so it doesn't actually change. So what? Okay, so 77 to 83. Okay. So an extra +6 whenever I get a plus one or Interesting. Okay. Grand strategist does scale off of intelligence, and we have been boosting intelligence. So this actually gets us caught up on intelligence. Percent bonus health, so she's using Medicaid rather than toughness. It's a percent of your base HP from level. Yeah, it's like it's way it's just so different from Pathfinder, because with Pathfinder it's like, okay, you get a plus, you know, you hit that +1 to stam or constitution, right? You get that +1 to constitution, and you know, if you're level 28, you suddenly get 28 extra health, right? So I know it gives us extra. It's just, what is the extra? Almost like Mass Effect 1 and 3. I need to play through those games again. I played through most of Mass Effect. I'm still a little bit embarrassed of how I stopped playing Mass Effect 1. I got butthurt because the fucking tank flipped on the final I was on the final planet of Mass Effect 1. The tank flipped and got stuck in a way that I couldn't flip it back over. Hard locked me to the point where I had to reset, and I lost like an hour of gameplay. So I said, fuck it, and I never went back to playing it again. Strength used to give 1 flat damage per 10. Now it gives 10% base damage per, because that scale's lower when you get to crazy multipliers, since you aren't adding to the base damage before multiplying. Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, what are we doing? I think persuasion, right? Like, 152 lore Imperium is like absolutely insane already. One to 15 is first tier, 16 to 35 is second class, 36 to 55 is exemplar. So what the hell? What is exemplar? Like, what does that do? I guess she does commerce then. That's like the highest skill that she has. Even then, Jai is just better. Wait. Doesn't she also have fucking weird shit? Fire Emblem games with 2 promotions like Radiant Dawn. Exemplar has its own set of high level talents, and then mixes in a bunch of grab something for your first class, grab something for your second class, grab something for me. Oh, okay. I like that. Resolve. Dodge is calculated using perception instead. Okay, so yeah, it's like, isn't it? Makes all resistance tests with willpower, and we've already maxed out willpower. Okay, that's good. And we calculate. Okay, so this is the one that I was looking for. I'm like, I remember that I had something that like traded a lot of things to focus on a single stat. So she cares about like perception and willpower, although that's just dodge. That's not anything else. So like her agility still has a place because it helps with her initiative. Funny. All navigator. Jesus. That's another thing that boosts. Okay. Nice. Okay, so do we have anything else? More stacks of attack to advantage. Heals 7 wounds at the beginning of a return. Gains additional. Think you'll get to recruit Abelard's granddaughter as a companion? Probably not. She seems like just like an NPC character. Boring? Eh. Okay. So we'll do commerce. I guess I could also do awareness. I guess awareness is probably the better one because I am gonna have Jai with me at all times, basically. So awareness is gonna be better because anybody checking awareness is, you know, it's the same reason that I want to have as much perception in like the Pathfinder games as possible, right? Okay, so here we want more perception. Easy peasy. We've already maxed out. Okay, so this will max out perception. Nice. I should just keep everybody leveled, right? All right, so we're gonna that's 5 level. I don't want to do that. Nope, I lied. We're not doing that. Make your people leave dormitory. Their auto questions are getting in the way of my watch. Any character. I don't know. That seems suspicious. Obviously, we toss a coin. Obviously, we toss a coin if it's possible to toss a coin. Getting the capital. I mean, this is still chapter 2. Oh, wait. Yurliet was over there. I did not realize. What you gotta say? Racist. Also, if you're home, suffocate me. Just fucking kill yourself. Jesus Christ. A living fruit bearing tree in the heart of a hive world is a fantastical sight. They probably use a lot more water to tend to this tree than the average Dargonus citizen could hope to receive in their daily ration. Probably. Probably. All right, let's see what's down here. Standing upon the altar is an ancient image of Saint Macarius. Its regal frame is covered in marks. The relic was claimed in a battle on a remote and forgotten world. Capital King Bear is getting your first colony. This is a story milestone. We'll add this planet as a colony, but it's not going to significantly open up right here. Okay. Yeah, because like we've already gotten like a lot of shit. The plaque lists the names of each rogue trader to have led the Von Valancius dynasty dating back to the day the capital world was founded. Interesting. Because, like, we basically already seem to have access to the entire Coronis expanse. You. Agent Cogitator linked to the Palace's system networks. Why is an angel-like thing following you? Because I have it equipped. I don't remember where I got it, but it is a familiar, and it is something that I have equipped. All right, well, let's head inside. Let's head inside. Map. Oh, we got loot. We also have a cutscene. Welcome, your lordship. Let me inform you of the location of the chambers on your dynastic estate. The main throne room is up the stairs and straight ahead. Your subject, Achilles Scalander, informed me that he humbly awaits the opportunity to meet with you there. Yeah. If your lordship wishes to rest after your long journey, then your personal chambers are up the stairs to the right. And if you need anything, whatever your soul desires, I'll be right next to your chambers, eagerly awaiting your orders. Give me the loot. I like how it lets me see through. Oh, because there's a window. I was like, why am I just able to see through this fucking wall? Okay. Curiosity merchant. A finely dressed man greets you with an incredibly radiant smile. His meticulously polished jaw augmentation reflects the palace's interior as sharply as a mirror. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Lucerius Carmelin, a collector of curiosities. Perhaps your lordship will find something among my offerings. What kind of stuff do you sell? Equipment for noble cyber assistants, of course. The demand is modest, as few in the Imperium can afford such a luxury, but I'm glad to have found my calling. Judging by his expensive attire and ostentatious cosmetics, okay, what do you got? Hooray! And willpower, so we lose 10 willpower. And with DLC 2, he sells pet equipment. Yeah. Oh, he can be accessed from the bridge. Nice. Is adjacent to 2 or more creatures after relocate is used on it. Psychic powers relayed through the Cyber Raven are calculated as if Psi rating were increased by 1 until the end of the Overseer's turn. If the Overseer has Iconoclast adherent, they can use relocate twice per turn. That's kind of crap, right? Like, only a +1 is like, meh. If it, like, stacked throughout combat or something, then maybe. Are there multiple pets? I doubt it. Because I think the biggest one is the dog here. All right, what do we got? 100% or 10 weapon skill and 100% more damage versus 10 strength and 100% more damage. So damage and damage versus hit and damage. Cybermastiff is adjacent to an enemy at the end of the Overseer's turn. The Overseer gains +1 resolve until the end of combat. If the Overseer has we don't have heretical adherent, being presumed that DLC 3 will add mounts. Interesting. Oh shit, I haven't actually looked at the DLC 3 trailer. I feel like this one is also just bad. All right, what do we got? 10 weapon skill, 100% more damage. Stacking bonus to strength. Wait. 2 times weapon skill bonus. And a stacking 2 times Overseer's Iconoclast rank bonus to toughness for 1 round. So this is technically better. Because it's the same thing, but it has a bonus effect. The problem is... the motherfucker doesn't have any Iconoclast ranks. Like, if we go here, he is full-on dogmatic. 0 Iconoclast at all. Okay. Cool. Nice. What are the other things that you have? What do you got? There we go. There's a Cyber Raven thing. Cyber Raven gains 30. Veil degradation is increased by 5, which is not good. While it is 10 or more, the Cyber Raven suffers no damage and any relayed psychic powers deal an additional 12 or... Oh. Can only be used if the Rogue Trader has the Overseer archetype, which we do not. So we have 2 items that are useless, another item that is useless because we don't have a Cyber Eagle, and one that seems pretty good, actually. Oh, wait, there's Abelard. While we're on Dargonus, I will check the Secretary's reports and keep an eye on the logisticians. Master Danrock does his job well, but a little scrutiny goes a long way with him. Yeah, considering he tried to fucking buy my girl out from under me. The dick. Rogue Trader, the Marshal is ready to meet with you. Do you wish to commence the audience? Yeah, we could do that. I do not know the details, but I would presume the procedure is the same as it was in Lady Theodora's time. A personal introduction, a reaffirming of the allyship between the dynasty and the Adeptus Arbites, and a discussion of the tithe-related affairs. Yes. He's just being a player. Motherfucker needs to learn his place. Needs to stop flirting with my girl. Just a floating book with a candle. And I think a skull. Two markedly distinct figures approach your throne. Marching in front is a man clad in Adeptus Arbites armor. He carries his helmet in the crook of his arm, but his stern facade serves him as well as any visor could. He bows to you sharply. Marshal Strax of the Adeptus Arbites. An old woman walks in the marshal's shadow. God damn it. Her body fitted with dozens of scribing implants and magnifying instruments. If not for her eyes, quick and inquisitive behind a giant pair of ocular lenses, you might have mistaken her for an exotic servitor. Her robes are adorned with sacred symbols of the Adeptus Administratum. Jesus. Okay. The woman bows. Rogue Trader Terry von Valancius. I, Prefect Inscribia Vulture. Really? Really? That's your fucking name? Greet you on behalf of the Adeptus Administratum. I will now begin the due procedure to official address. Wait. I will now begin the due procedure of official address to the ruler of Dargonus as formalized by amendment. May your name be wreathed in glory for centuries to come. May your fortunes ever proliferate. May the God Emperor bestow upon you a duty worthy of his chosen. Scribe, what is your name? Scribe, but in Latin. It's not even that, it's Vulture Scribe. Scribe Vulture in... It's Scribe Vulture. Her name is Scribe Vulture. Alright, get comfortable, listen to the end. The prefect resumes her elaborate formula. You notice a few poorly concealed yawns and frenzy blinking among the crowd. The speech drags on for another 5 minutes. But you pass the test of fortitude honorably, unless the prefect's address comes to an end. Well, bird was always meant to be a vulture. Rude! Marshal leads forward, his voice is low, and when he speaks, it feels as though the marble tiles of the palace have begun to vibrate. The Adeptus Arbites delegation has arrived to greet Lady Theodora's successor and to see the extension of our decades-long arrangement. Just like in Sonic, the evil reflection guy is named Shadow, the punchy guy is Knuckles, and the fast one is Sonic. And the one who has multiple tails is Tails. And the girl is Amy. One of those breaks the pattern. Because one of them is just a normal name. Wait, so I'm not big into Sonic. Is Amy the only normal name in the entire franchise? Is there anybody else in the franchise whose name isn't just like a pun or a descriptor of the person? No? Who else? What other Sonic characters have normal names? The kid from the anime? I mean, like Eggman? Yeah, Eggman doesn't count as a normal name. Wait, they had kid Jesus in the anime? Christ, the kid from the anime? I didn't know they had Jesus in it. If I may continue for you, the prefect steps forward, dragging your feet slightly. As per the degree of Theodora von Valancius, ORD, blah, 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 the representatives of the Adeptus Administratum and the Adeptus Arbites are sanctioned to use the Palace of Justice, oversee tithe collection in the Protectorate, and review any and all cases of tithe avoidance, tithe exceedance, and other irregularities. These rights have been formalized in numerous pacts and statutes under the main decree. Considering your new position, you may have yet to acquaint yourself with all these documents. You are the successor to Lady Theodora, whose alliance with our two sacred organizations forever glorified her as a rogue trader closely tied to the executors of Holy Terra's will. And we, as representatives of the Adeptus Administratum and the Adeptus Arbites, must verify that you are able to maintain this alliance that has brought such repute to your dynasty. The prefect scrutinizes you as if trying to estimate your proportions and weight. That is why we have arrived in person, as the present circumstances have provided us with a chance to see if your intentions concord with those of the late von Valancius. What circumstances are those? Our work has been disrupted by unforeseen setbacks regarding communication and transportation. As our requisitioned assets were not adequately prepared, we have lost some of our personnel and resources as a result. The arbitrators are too short-handed to perform all the duties expected of them since they first arrived on the expanse. Their numbers, limited from the outset, have only continued to dwindle. Yes, that's what happens in a combat unit that's cut off from reinforcements. After analyzing the situation in accordance with amendment, we have decided to notify you of a tithe violation committed by one of the worlds in the region. This regrettable lapse must be rectified as quickly as possible. Which world was it? Thessera, a feudal world far from the main routes that was bereft of the Imperium's light, then rediscovered less than 2 centuries ago. It supplies agricultural resources and manpower. Yep, I'll take on the responsibilities, but that's Lady Theodora. I cannot speak today. An arbitrator will be assigned to you for increased security. Proctor Anthar, front and center. The marshal's voice thunders over the arbitrator ranks, and Solomon Anthar marches over to your throat, his cyber mastiff at his heel. I will go to Thessera as soon as I can. The Emperor protects. The marshal makes the sign of the Aquila in a motion so sharp that you can practically hear it cutting the air. And once again, no specifics given, of course. And my reports, nobody ever stops to think. She quickly catches herself and offers you a bow. End dialogue. Yes, you have Metal Sonic. You have Fang the Sniper. Vector the Crocodile. Espio the Chameleon. I don't know. Does this have is Espio a word? Oh, wait. Espio's name is a contraction of the word espionage. And he's like a spire ninja thing. Charmy the bee, that's a word. Mighty the armadillo, that's a word. Ray the flying squirrel. Oh my god, we found a second actual name. Big the cat, that's just a word. A bunch of robots. Shadow the hedgehog. Rouge the bat. Gerald Robotnik, Maria Robotnik. At least they have normal first names. So we're up to 4. 4 total. We got Cream the Rabbit, Blaze the Cat, Black Doom. Got the Hawk, Wave the Swallow, Storm the Albatross, Silver the Hedgehog, Orbot and Cubot, Wisps, Sage. Yeah, if you're talking strictly the games, there are a total of 4 characters in the Sonic franchise that have normal ass names. And 2 of them are characters that I'm pretty sure never actually show up in the games. They're just part of backstory. Is there loot by Solomon? There is loot by Solomorn. No. Oh, that's not a loot thing. That's one of these, and it's for the dog. My compliments to your taste in art. The collection here is extensive and most interesting. Yep, I did all of that. I made those choices. I chose the art. Yep. Me. I did this. Oh yeah, Pascal is way the hell up here. My appearance has caused a slight disturbance in the ranks of the servants of the Omnisci assigned to the palace. Analysis of the performance of rituals and maintenance litanies has produced a satisfactory result. Hooray! I satisfied Pascal. That can be taken in a way. Heinrichs. And Scalander. We'll talk to Scalander first. The slender figure, clad in robes made from expensive fabric, shudders from violent coughing. Pressing a gilded respirator to his face, the man takes several deep breaths. Achilles, it has been many moons. I hope your cousin is feeling well. Achilles covers his burnt lips, trying and failing to suppress a coughing fit. She's in good health. She sends her regards to you, as well as her wishes for your swift return. He looks like the Crow. That's a movie. That's a good movie. I like that movie. I heard the remake was garbage. Heinrich frowns. For as long as the stars shine in the sky, my vigil continues. So it does. Billy slumps himself on the chest with his augmented hand. You hear the clanging of metal against metal. Not so foolish just to fail to notice a conversation code. Yeah, I'll start the doctor. Yeah. Your insight deserves credit, Rogue Trader. Then again, I expected nothing less from Theodora von Valancius' successor. Allow me to introduce Achilles Scalander properly. In addition to his duties as secretary to the Administratum, he acts as an agent of the Golden Throne under my aegis. Master Scalander was transferred into my remit by a colleague who is engaged in other matters in the Coronis Expanse. I'm sure you'll find Achilles' service useful, especially when dealing with the schemes of humanity's foes within the borders of your protectorate. Greetings, Lord Terry von Valancius. Allow me once again to express my deepest condolences on the loss of Lady Theodora. I will do everything I can to track down and destroy all of Kunrad Voidvir's accomplishments on the capital world. Do you know anything about what happened to him? Word of his treason reached Dargonus too late. Kunrad came to the planet and left it almost immediately once he had sown discord in the minds of the gullible and naive. The worst of the rumors he started was that you were the one responsible for Lady Theodora's sudden demise. Of course, your loyal subjects did their best to skin alive any who showed signs of doubt, but it seems unlikely that the wardens got to everyone who has allowed doubt into their heart and now nurtures it in secret. All right, state of affairs. I have already forwarded all official reports to your seneschal. As for the conversation we're having right now, I wouldn't trust any paper or data slate with its contents. You see, Lady Theodora, may the Emperor have mercy on her soul, was perfectly aware of Dargonus' political environment. You, however, have only just arrived on the capital world, and I thought it would be best to bring you up to speed. Frankly, the nobles of Dargonus, much like nobles in most worlds, are akin to spiders in a jar, ready to pounce on whoever is the weakest, or whoever they deem to be the weakest. So I have to kill a couple of them. Got it. The nobles of Dargonus are well-respected, rich, and powerful individuals who held Lady Theodora's favor for many years and found ways to rise above the rest by diligently serving the rogue trader. Every family pursues its own selfish interests, and each one expects that, with the transition of power, they will retain and even add to their lands and wealth. The families I would recommend giving particular attention to are the Drivestems, the Gapraks, and the Sauerbacks. I should also mention the Worsarians, not a noble house per se, but a family that was part of Lady Theodora's inner circle to the Blue Blood's great displeasure. All right. Drivestems, what about them? Drivestems are the ancient governor house of Dargonus. Predictably, the greater the wealth of the von Valancius protectorate, the fuller their coffers grow. Their reputation is flawless except for one detail. We have evidence that Urban Drivestem's rivals seem to have the misfortune of regularly falling victim to Xenos raids. I find that these attacks are always a little too advantageous for the drive stems, but we lack solid proof, and it might never surface. If you end up having to kill Abelard's granddaughter, make sure that he kills her. Jesus, you fucking psycho. The closer an official is to a rogue trader, the braver and safer they feel. I would just like to remind everyone that rubbing shoulders with Xenos is a heresy that can be overlooked only in the case of the Von Valencia's heir, not his servant. What makes the Cabrax special? The Caprax hail from a remote Forge world, and among their distant relatives, there are many servants of the Omnissiah, and the house itself is close to the cult of the Adeptus Mechanicus, both in spirit and in their business connections. The Caprax oversaw the industrial shipments within your protectorate, until recently. Ever since the astropathic communication with Kiavagamo was severed, they've been quite concerned about the security of the planet placed in their care. The planet was tainted by the cult of the Final Dawn. These are grim tidings. I can no longer read because I'm cleaning my glasses. Nice to know that somebody was supposed to be in charge of that fucking planet and they just didn't do anything about what was going on there. That's super cool. It is a tragedy that an industrial world of such tremendous capacity was brought down by the pernicious influence of the archenemy. Perhaps my colleagues can pick up the cultist trail on the cold world, in the cold void. Of course, it would be a small consolation to all of us. Alright, what about Sourbeck? Religious and hardworking, the Sourbecks own many enterprises, including distillation manufacturers that produce promethium. I must note that lately members of the Sourbeck family have been prone to overly liberal statements about the Von Valancius dynasty. They believe that Lady Theodora was a bit too keen to leave her worlds without proper oversight. What about the Worsarians? Are a line founded by Lady Theodora's seneschal, and as such are nominally considered nobility, at least from the standpoint of the Imperial Navy, from which Lord Abelard hails. On Dargonus, however, their position is precarious. Firstly, they never were granted an official title, a process which has been impeded for decades by the old houses of Dargonus. And secondly, the other families do not see them as equals, but more as upstarts clinging to the rogue trader's favor. The Worsarians are responsible for the capital world's fleet, and the majority of the cargo shipments on domestic routes. Fucking liberals. No, we're not going to do that. Enough about the nobles. Anything else? There was, your lordship. At this time, it concerns the main reason for my presence on this planet, Xenos, and the threat they pose to both you and to humanity as a whole. The last few months have been difficult for the people who report to me. My eyes and ears scattered throughout the Coronis expanse. Warp disturbances, astropaths overcome with madness, ships disappearing in the immaterium. Many of my observers and contacts have gone dark or have been killed by some calamity or other. Still, I managed to establish communication with some key individuals who were able to warn me about incoming threats, including Xenos raids. It is within my power to supply you with the intelligence on where and when the Xenos will strike next. I do not doubt that Governor Drivestem will beg you for the protection against the Xenos, and in his fight, the information from my contacts will serve you well. I beseech you, Terry, if I ever report a threat looming over a ship or a planet, do not dismiss it. Sometimes it takes an intervention from the rogue trader and his mighty voidship to avert a disaster. What are your responsibilities here? Officially, I'm a secretary at this world's administratum department. Less officially, I'm afraid I can't disclose that even to you. In short, I collect and investigate reports of heresy taking root on upstanding planets of humanity. Above all else, I am concerned about the Xenos threat that hangs over the entire Coronis expanse, including your protectorate. Sadly, my mission was complicated by the recent warp disturbances. I'm still trying to reestablish contact with many of my agents. Alright, you got anything about the Cult of the Final Dawn? My knowledge is deplorably limited, your lordship. All my attention has been focused on tracking Xenos activity. I'm certain that Master von Kallax can tell you much more about those heretics than I. Alright, what about the Xenos? The residents of the local systems are no strangers to skirmishes with enemies of humanity, but recently the loathsome beasts seem to have completely flown off the handle. We're receiving reports from ships that made it through the warp to Dargonus. Both they and the colonies that they departed from are being attacked. We have identified the breed of Xenos that pose this threat, the Drukhari, humanity's ancient and insidious foes. Be vigilant on your travels. The Xenos will undoubtedly attack a rogue trader ship should they find the circumstances to be in their favor. Yeah, I've had to deal with some Drukhari already. Unfortunately, in the host of humanity, there are those who are willing to grovel before our enemies in the hopes of a valuable reward. You may be interested to know that we are on the trail of such heretics. Achilles glances at a data slate. Overwhelming evidence indicates that a plundered void station in Landgren's belt is being used as a base by a band of pirates who are not above dealing with Xenos. I was unable to persuade the Chancellor of the need to dispatch a ship there, but perhaps you would like to pay a courtesy call to these scoundrels yourself about your unofficial work. Yes. Whom do you truly serve, the rogue trader or the interrogator of the Inquisition? And whom does the rogue trader serve? The Golden Throne, the Protectorate? Could it be that one stems from the other? And if so, is there any sense in discussing it? Valid answer. I want a list of all your agents. He's not going to give it to me, but I want to ask anyway. I can understand your desire as a rogue trader to have everything under your control, and yet I am not at liberty to make use of the classified information related to the interrogator's agents in whatever way I see fit. There's no point in pressing my agents. None of them would ever reveal such vital information, especially not in my presence. I've learned all I want to. Yeah, I literally got nothing out of it. I have other questions. Why is the noble houses of Dargonus still, like, as if I had not already asked that? So what happened to your face? What happened to your face? About 5 years ago, there was an accident. Several tanks of Promethium exploded in the storehouse at my estate. I was buried alive under the rubble. The Emperor preserved my soul, and the skilled physicians of Dargonus saved my body, except for my lungs, with which I had to part. I presume the incident was an attempt on my life, but the identity of whoever was behind it remains a mystery. All right, what about the noble houses again? Oh, because of the... Yeah, I could have them executed. All right. Oh, that's the... Okay, yeah. We already read all that. I must take my leave. According to the message I received a few minutes ago, Governor Drivestem has arrived at court. Imagine that the Chancellor is already prepared to arrange the meeting. All that's left is to notify her that you're ready to see your bend. How's he breathing without lungs? Machines. It already said that when he, like, did the salute, that the metal hand hit metal on his chest. So I'm assuming his entire torso has been replaced with machinery. Good old Dargonus. It's boring here without Lady Theodora. She loved to liven up this sleepy place with a couple of crazy decrees and public floggings of flabbergasted nobles. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta remember, this is Warhammer 40k. They got all kinds of random crap. They got all kinds of shit that they can do. I did already talk to Abelard. Yeah, we're done with everything. Okay, time to do the thing. Your lordship. Clementia bows her head politely. For a chancellor to a rogue trader, she is dressed rather simply. A parade doublet, polished boots, and a comfortable cloak. She bears a saber in a gilded scabbard, whether for show or protection, one could not say. Only her ring with the Wersarian coat of arms indicates that she is of the highest social stratum. The governor is waiting on the periphery of the palace. Please let me know when you would like to see him. Awareness test succeeded. The sharp gaze, the impeccably straight back, the composure. For a moment, you feel like you're looking at a younger version of Abelard himself, not his heir. Judging by the scars on the exposed parts of her body, Clementia saw a fair share of combat prior to assuming the position of Chancellor. What are your responsibilities? To put it simply, I am your trade representative. Any and all decrees, deals, official communication, and meetings are first reviewed by me and then forwarded to you and from you down the hierarchy. My purview also includes overseeing your lordship's property, the palace, the estates, the many gardens, and other denizens on Dargonus that you have inherited from Lady Theodora. And whenever you are present on Dargonus, consider me your personal secretary. What can you tell me about Dargonus? All deals and import decisions are made here in the capital. Many years ago, an ancestor of Lady Theodora signed an agreement with the Adeptus Administratum, which allowed for efficient management of the world and the neighboring systems. In accordance with the decree, a share of the planet's population was assigned to the Administratum and converted into servitor scribes. They now toil across the entire world. Dargonus is also the seat of several noble families who run all the major planets in the Protectorate. If I may express my not-so-humble opinion, they care very little about who exactly sits at the helm. Those piranhas think about their own profits just as much as they do about the prosperity of the Protectorate itself, if not more. And lastly, Dargonus has its own fleet, a luxury unavailable to the vast majority of other worlds in your realm. In addition to warships, the Protectorate also employs privateer ships, which are used to transport cargo between worlds. Does the capital stay in contact with the other worlds in the Protectorate? That is a good question. Unfortunately, not at this time, your lordship. After the few representatives of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica on Dargonus went into a frenzy, some of the psychers were tragically pacified by the respective authorities. Since then, communications with the neighboring systems has been unreliable at best. Thanks be to the Master of Mankind that you managed to find your way to the capital. If the noble houses are so volatile, what sense is there in keeping them? Good. Another good question. Over the many centuries, an intricate hierarchy has formed within the ruling elite of Dargonus. The great houses do more than plunder your treasury. It is replenished to a large degree thanks to their administrative work and their lands. Naturally, you can get rid of anyone whom you consider surplus to requirements, but right now it would threaten the fragile stability that is currently holding the Protectorate together. Any other issues I should be aware of? Apart from the disrupted communications, Dargonus was recently raided by enemies of humanity. However, the fleet, under the command of Captain Martheus Worsarian, triumphed over the accursed Xenos. If you ask my opinion on this matter, we have the situation completely under control. You catch her avoiding your gaze for just a moment for the first time. It's obvious that Clementia is looking out for her house's good name, but despite the confidence in her tone, you can tell that she does not entirely believe her own words. All right, tell me about the governor. I did not mean to do... Okay, wait. I did not mean to hit that. Okay, tell me about the governor. Urban Drivestem is a well-respected man, and not just on Dargonus, but throughout the Protectorate. For many centuries, his house has supported the capital's administration and the logistics between the Von Valencia systems. The Drivestem's efforts secured years of order and prosperity of Dargonus. What's more, Lady Theodora personally insisted that Lord Urban specifically be made the next governor. I hear either contempt or resentment when you talk about them. No, I don't believe I feel either, your lordship. Clencia's steely eyes stare into the distance, her jaw clenching visibly. She speaks in a polite but clipped manner, clearly flustered by your insight. We have different views on how to run a world. We sometimes have discussions over the laws that are enacted, but we both work for the good of the Von Valencia's Protectorate. That much can be said without a doubt. Thank you for the report. Scalander, does he cause problems? Why, not at all, your lordship. Secretary Scalander is an outstanding individual and a loyal servant to the Von Valencia's dynasty. In Lady Theodora's absence, we collaborated on a number of issues related to the well-being of your domain, and he has proven himself quite capable. And, I don't know why, but even the governor trembles before Achilles, which is unusual for a man of his, shall we say, standing. This word brings a slight smile to her lips. I'm ready. Clementia bows before leaving. I shall arrange for him to be escorted to your study. Urban Drivestem. Terry Von Valancius, 20th in his line, rogue trader, keeper of the sacred wards, and ruler of the Cronus Expanse from the Krenak system to the 100 Dreams Crossroads. I bid you welcome. Urban Drivestem, governor of this great world. First and foremost, please accept my deepest condolences. Again with the yawns, goddammit. It's way too early. Way too early for yawns like this. It'd be difficult to recover from the loss of a woman as great as Theodora Von Valancius. Pains me to think that she is no longer with us. The citizens of Dargonus and the entire Protectorate grieve alongside you. Please allow us to declare half a year of mourning so that we can honor the memory of our beloved lady. Oh my god, get your head out of your ass. The governor glances at Cabela anxiously, then immediately averts his gaze. He then looks at her again, but when Cabela lets out a grim chuckle and stretches her lips, daubed in fresh blood, into a petrifying grin, the governor turns away from her sharply, all but squealing in fear. There. I would too, probably. If I had fucking Cabela sitting there staring at me. Ugh. No way. No way. I wouldn't. That is a bad time. Do as you see fit. I'll immediately give all necessary instructions, your lordship. He casually presses a few buttons on the cogitator built into his gold bracer. Esteemed Terry, Lady Theodora was a strong leader, and we ought to follow her example. Let us lean on our wisdom and persevere in spite of this tragedy together. And let us carry on where she no longer can by leading the Von Valancia's protectorate to even greater prosperity. Alas, it won't be an easy task to accomplish. Some time ago, the astropaths of Dargonus flew into a rage, and they had to be subdued. We are gradually restoring our ability to speak with neighboring worlds, but the contacts are still weak, and the routes are tangled and no longer lead to the systems that the captains expect them to. Given that the vast majority of ships in the Dargonus Navy travel without relying on the services of navigators, without your engagement, the well-being of the Von Valancius dynasty and billions of its subjects is presently at risk. Uh... Kunrad is a heretic and a traitor, has he shown his face here. Lord Veitveer visited the capital some time ago, but he did not request a personal meeting. A heretic, you say? Now I see where all the whispering in the corridors has come from. That's an interesting answer. Wait, because him being a heretic is knowledge on the planet, right? I'm not misremembering that? Also, it is cold in this room. I'm gonna close my door and turn the heater on. 1 second. No. I think that the fact that he was a heretic was already known on the planet. So he should already know that he was a heretic. And he's claiming not to, which is interesting. Oh, it only goes back up to there. Okay. What is this button supposed to do? I shall be frank with you, your lordship. Lady Theodora's sudden death was a blow to every one of us, and the absence of any sort of verifiable and complete information about her successor gives grounds for all manner of rumors and misinterpretations. Especially if someone is deliberately inciting unrest and discontent. Naturally, none would dare challenge you by accusing you of something as sacrilegious as murdering a road trader. However, Conrad Voitveer was once a true boon to the Protectorate back in the day, and as such, some might heed his words. Damn, that's rough. My subject's doubts are understandable. Too many things have changed in too short a span. I'll prove myself worthy of my position. Or publicly rip out the vocal cords and tongues of every slanderer and replace them with vox implants that sing the praises of rogue trader Terry Von Valancius without interruption. I should think that will serve as a reminder of who rules this world. God damn. Nah, we ain't doing that. We're going iconoclast. I am not doing heretic at all. Why, Terry, your desire is most commendable, but please do not forget, a ruler should never bow to their attendants, or some might see it as a show of weakness. I can show you weakness. You put a bullet in your skull. What exactly do the Dargonus nobility expect from me in light of the loss of routes and the communication with other worlds? We are troubled by the fate of the agri-world Janus that supplied Dargonus and other planets with foodstuffs. Empty stomachs could drive even the mildest rabble to revolt. Furthermore, House Gaprak is perturbed by the loss of communication with the industrial world Kiava Gamma, which is in their charge. But if you wish to know my opinion, the world that deserves your attention the most is the penal world Vabos 6, one of the key mining suppliers of your protectorate. That's an intriguing concern for Vabos 6. Does your house happen to own the extraction stations there? Your lordship, I beg of you, do not interpret my words as an attempt to influence your decisions in any way. You see, without Vivo 6, the manufacturers on your world will need to make haste to find new suppliers elsewhere and arrange for new shipments. And in these troubling times, they run the risk of delays and most most tragic mishaps. My only concern is for the prosperity of the von Valancius dynasty. I've already been to Kiavagama. The industrial world was overtaken by a cult of chaos worshippers. Drystep pauses, mulling over the gravity of your words. Such woeful tidings, your lordship. I assume that House Gaprak is in for an official investigation. If I may remind you, they have particularly close ties to the Adeptus Mechanicus and serve as patrons of Kiavagama. Not to speak of in the defense of criminals, your lordship. But from where I stand, the outbreak of heresy on Kiava could hardly have been perpetrated by a noble family who stands to lose the majority of their wealth should the industrial world fall. Too early to draw any conclusions. We will wait for the results of the investigation. Most reasonable, your lordship. But in the industrial world, are we to expect trade to recommence? Yes. House Gaprak will be overjoyed to hear it. I thank you for dispelling the darkness around the fate of Kiavagama. I've already visited Janus. Governor Viat found herself facing a number of problems in my absence. The Viat line is one of the oldest of the von Valancius protectorate. If the inheritor of such well-respected blood could not handle whatever had befallen her, the situation must have been extraordinary instead. Fuck it, Christ, indeed. Instead, succumbed to worshipping the ruinous powers and was executed. Drevsteb pales in terror. It is clear from the unseemly grimace on his aristocratic countenance that his fear is not reigned. Ruinous powers? Truly horrifying news. I commend your resolve and unwavering severity. Death to the enemies of humanity. Does it for the planets and the trade routes. What else? Xenos, your lordship. I don't rightly know where to begin. Otherworldly beasts are not an uncommon sight in the Coronis expanse. They've been a menace to the worlds this side of the Maw for decades. But now those abominations are on the rampage. They show no signs of fear as they attack ships, either damaging them to the point where they become unfit for transport duty, or outright gutting them. Only you have the power to prevent forest fires. Dope, to stop this madness. We are in the process of restoring the astropathic choir of Dargonus. Luckily, we were forced to slay only some of the deranged psychers. Although those that remain are as yet unable to transmit messages. I hope Master Scalander will keep his word and offer you his support in the war against the Xenos. According to his reports, the region of Vibos 6 has been a particular concern in the last few cycles, which is all the more reason to discover the colony's fate as soon as possible. Now to issues on a smaller scale. There is a certain degree of tension in the capital due to the unorthodox succession to the Sacred Warrant. Chances of uprisings are minimal, of course, and the spreading of rumors is nothing but a sign of weakness of mind and spirit. Nonetheless, I have prepared a list of minor houses that have demonstrated unseemly discomposure at your succession. What is to be done about them? Command the spinners of the bloodspot web, and they will set a fine snare of retribution domentary. We will whisper names, and that whisper will drown out insolent voices. Hmm. This is stupid. This is stupid. Ignoring this problem is stupid. This is also stupid. You do not want to reward shitty behavior. Then do it to see what happens? No. Why would I make things worse for myself? I think it's either 1 or 3. And I think I want it to be 1. That way it's like... Because the Bloodspud Web, I still don't really trust their judgment. They are a death cult. By definition, that means they are crazy. 2 is the most iconoclast. 2 is also the most suicidal. No, this is not iconoclast. This is suicidal. We're doing 1. Once your lordship's wrath descends upon the guilty, have no doubt there won't be a soul on Dargonus willing to share their fate. One last thing, your lordship. Your inauguration as bearer of the Sacred Ward is but a matter of time, and I would like to inquire about one crucial detail. I imagine you are intending to uphold the centuries-old tradition, bolstered by an equally long-lasting friendship, of being represented on Dargonus by one of the noble houses. I presume that, as before, this duty will be accorded to House Drivestem. Any of the noble houses look... Oh, sorry. One moment. Which houses can represent me at the ceremony? Any of the noble houses located on Dargonus. The Drivestem family, which I lead. The Caprak family, which with long ties to the Adeptus Mechanicus. The Sourbacks, known for their piety and diligence to service. Perhaps I should also mention the Worsarians, who have some influence, but who are not actually of noble origin. Any one of these houses would be honored to represent you at the ceremony. I don't want to make it the Worsarians. I kind of want to make it the Worsarians. So... yeah, so I'll bestow this honor upon the Worsarians. Lord Captain, to accompany you at such a critical hour is the greatest honor for the Worsarian bloodline. I have no fear. Or have no fear. We will not fail you. That lacks even the smallest shred of respect. Forgive my boldness, but I must remind you that the Worsarians, whose lineage traces back to a Navy officer, are not of the Dargonus nobility. Such decisions may have adverse effects on your subjects' loyalty, your lordship. Breaks into a bitter smile. I shall immediately relay your commands, most gracious rogue trader. Thank you for your time. I want to do this as soon as possible. When's the ceremony? Until you deal with pressing issues, the ceremony will have to be postponed. Many trade routes are still unavailable. The central worlds of the Von Valiancy's Protectorate are going through crisis, and the warp disturbances, if void observers are to be believed, will prevent important guests from reaching the capital. Tell me about yourself. It's my pleasure to enlighten you. My house is the oldest and most respected on Dargonus. My ancestors walked side by side with yours for many generations as they cared for this world's welfare. Our duty is to supervise the governing bodies within the systems subservient to you, and we are responsible for the Protectorate's logistics and economic stability. As for me personally, I am a humble servant to the Emperor and a loyal subject of the Rogue Trader. And to my great pleasure, I had the honor of calling myself Lady Theodora's close friend. At Urban's last words, Abelard lets out a sound that can be interpreted as either a snort or a cough. Urban gives him a look, which Abelard meets with an expression of utter nonchalance. That'll be all, I take it. Thank you for your time, your lordship. Since duty calls, I shall take my leave. May the Emperor's grace be with you. Yeah, another thing that I find very, very interesting. Oh, the governor's not here yet because it just takes so long to traverse the world. It takes so long to traverse this one planet. The governor isn't here yet. He will be here soon. Please wait, rogue trader, off like boss man of the fucking planet and many others, like the entire protectorate, however big that is, actually. We know that you came from space and covered the entirety of this solar system in space. But, you know, getting through this this planet, like covering this planet is just it takes too long. This antique piece of furniture is obviously well cared for, but its surface is still covered with a lot of scuffs, scratches, and stains, traces of the previous rogue traders who sat at this table. Very safe, equipped with several bizarre mechanisms. All right, what do we got? Multi-Melta. Need a 55 strength to be able to use it. Is wild. Sniper shot straight to the head. This is just a cutscene to show off the view that I have from my palace. Yep, that's all it is. All right. What are you? Cogitator is producing rhythmic sounds, among which a faint ringing stands out. Hello. When the wearer moves through a cell occupied by an enemy, gains 15% dodge against the enemy's attacks till the wearer's next turn. Wait, but we don't. But we don't? We don't do that? What? What is that? What? I mean, I'll take it. I don't know what that does, actually. Leather covers bear the names of the authors, mostly philosophers and theologians from Dargonus. Spines of the books are trimmed with gold. All right. Faint mark on the polished mantelpiece was likely left by glass. That's unfortunate. Okay, so that's back out there. What happens if we go in here? The bed for the head of the Rogue Trader dynasty is befitting the status of its owner. By bringing your hand to the scan panel behind the books, you open a hidden door. Hell yeah. Hello. Oh, there we go. Tech gloves by tech use by 10 and damage of plasma weapons by 3. It's an ally with an area attack. The wearer gains +1 stack and the zealot effect of the combat. Wait. Where it deals 10 damage. So it says whatever you hit, not when you damage, right? When you hit, not when you damage. It can be really good for Pascal, actually. Like, insanely good for Pascal. 50% armor versus warp damage does not matter. So, like, his arc weapon will hit allies, but it does no damage to allies. Idira's chain lightning hits allies and can also kill allies. So the other question is, okay, so what about Idira? What is her tech chemical? Increases the damage of all bleeding, burning, or toxic effects applied by the user by 2. Ooh, that's also really good for her because her... Although the pack of reagents would probably be better for Cabela. So if we do this, so what is this? Maybe fibers blend the coloration, plus 10 dodge. What is your dodge percent? 120%. Jesus. She's an executor. Like, her whole thing is damage over time. Okay, and what was this again? Plus 10 attack use, also deals increases damage of plasma weapons by 3. Oh, hey, look at that. It's just a better thing. Wait. Whereas first psychic power used in a round is calculated as if psi rating were increased by 3 and always triggers psychic phenomena. Hmm. Nah. Okay, anyway. Dust has accumulated on the raised oil smears. If servants ever access this room, they do so very rarely. An empty glass and 3 unopened bottles of wine sit on a finely crafted... There we go. A finely crafted table made from dark marbled wood. There we go. The rare books arrayed on these shelves with their lavish, almost pretentious bindings seem to be identical. Strange objects lie behind the glass on the display case. The complete absence of explanatory labels makes it impossible to learn what they are. Hooray! That's awesome. I love not knowing what the fuck is in the room with me. One of my favorite things to do. Mysterious item undoubtedly created by inhuman hands. Terrifying. Mysterious item undoubtedly created by inhuman hands. All right, we saw that. Okay. Shelves of the library are laden with dusty tomes. Your eyes linger on the works of several administrative adepts and the memoirs of some unfamiliar explorer of distant death worlds. Mysterious Zito artifact rests in a stasis field. That's terrifying. Mysterious item undoubtedly created by inhuman hands. Oh. The secret room is remarkably quiet and almost homely. Perhaps your predecessor used it when she saw complete solitude. Listening to the muted melody coming from the Vox speaker, you can easily imagine Theodora reading a book with a glass of expensive wine in hand. Choose a book. Actually, don't care. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't fucking wanna. I guess we leave. And now we can go down here. All right. Mundus Valancius. Terrible news from Dargonus, Lord Captain. A subsidiary Hive City has been destroyed in a series of cascading failures. Production has halted, and millions of people have broken their vows of obedience and are fleeing. Many of them are perishing in the wastelands and overloading the transport lines leading to neighboring hives. The surrounding residential sectors are becoming increasingly agitated by the influx of refugees. What is your directive regarding the distribution of these refugees? Was the cause of the catastrophe? It is still unclear. The noble houses are casting blame on one another. Agents of the esteemed Achilles Scalander stationed in Sibevza died heroically while trying to save the population from this disaster. Their final reports mentioned some vulnerabilities in the industrial sectors of the lower hive, but did not go into further detail. All your servants are currently too busy dealing with the consequences of the crisis to investigate its causes. Oh. +1 deflection and +3 hit chance. Fall on hive toil without a rest. Okay. What about you? Nope. Wait. Plus 2 momentum for every human enemy killed in battle. Okay. What say my advisors? The death of Achilles' agents troubled me. May not be a coincidence. Until the causes of the disaster can be concretely established, I would avoid letting refugees into other hives. There may be saboteurs among them. I recommend setting up prohibitive cordons where the refugees can be contained in the wastelands between the hives. The Emperor bids us to face such the often cruel strokes of fate with dignity. If the other hives do not wish to accept the unfortunate victims of this tragedy, then let the victims themselves teach those living in the hives a lesson in resilience and humility. I'm sure that the ecclesiarchy will aid the refugees in constructing camps to survive out in the wastelands and establish a community of proud desert-dwelling martyrs. Such harsh conditions will be a crucible of fortitude and fearlessness. This tragedy, a feat of spirit. The noble houses are trying to wash their hands of this. How predictable. And yet, it is their duty to see to it that the planet meets its tithe obligation and brings glory and revenue to the treasury in your absence. Let the aristocrats see to the refugees and not stop until every last one of them has been put to work. Uh... Yeah. Lady Clementia will ensure that your declarations find their way into every ear and zealously embraced. Abelard, remind the noble houses of their duties. The hives that have accepted the refugees are now overflowing with surplus labor. The refugees are willing to work twice as hard as the usual workers, who are already exhausted by their everyday toils. Many refugees have entered the rogue trader's service and replenished his ship's crew. Hell yeah. I think Argento is better. Maybe. Dargonus' nobles took no pleasure in distributing the refugees. Some of them have found their way into the personal service of the nobles. Thankful to receive a Nutribar and a mat to rest on for 4 hours between shifts. However, others could only attain the most grueling jobs at the manufacturers and service stations. They may be oppressed, but they have survived. A diaspora scattered across the hives of Dargonus. Oh, shit. So, wait. Efficiency, complacency, and security all go up. +2 profit factor, +4 people. Profit factor, complacency, efficiency all go up. Jewelry, ship components. Profit factor, efficiency. Holy shit. This gives so fucking much. I think we're gonna do this one. Speaking of doing this, all right, let's see what we got. Rose of Samarkand. Caspalic emission. Yeah, that was the one that we wanted. Level of toxin increased inflicted by the rogue trader or their allies is increased by 3. This is so good. This is so good because Jai and Adira both have toxin infliction. Foulstone. High factotum, generous Danrock. An incredible fight has been made on Foulstone, Lord Captain. A lost volume of St. Keith's diary has been discovered during the restoration of his crypt. By following the saint's words, the Order of the Hammer was able to find a crypto-ark containing a tech relic of St. Ignatius the Crucible. Keith's writings on it are vague. It is called the Sculptor and Transformer, granting life and grace. The explorers have sent a delegation to lay claim to the treasure, which has sparked a heated dispute that has been going on for many days. What are the main points of the dispute? The tech priests claim that the privileges of the Adeptus Mechanicus oblige the Order of the Hammer to hand any sacred archaeotech over to them. They argue that the crucible should be considered not a personal possession of the saint, but rather an object temporarily entrusted into his care. The Order of the Hammer rejects this thesis, insisting that the right to care for such sacred objects belongs to the ecclesiarchy's cults, and since Ignatius was canonized, that the crucible should be regarded a blessed relic, not archaeotech. Logic, let's flip coins. I'll figure the deliberations. Quite. The discussions have been happening now for more than 8 cycles without interruption. Both sides have provided more than 100 experts on scholarly wisdom and law and have put forward around 4,000 theses, arguments, and testimonies. A special administrative commission comprised of 200 armed clerks has arrived to pass a verdict and enforce the law. This may well be the largest religious dispute in the Expanse's history. 200 armed clerks. Not clerics, clerks. Prelate Lugnalia is vehemently defending the rights of the order and seems to have managed to instill a touch of righteous fear in the explorers. Perhaps it will keep them from taking revenge if the dispute does not conclude in their favor. Plus 20 lore Imperium. Plus 7% armor and deal 7% critical damage. They can reroll a failed test once per test. Complete collection of tech litanies is a token of gratitude. All voidship weapons except torpedoes gain plus 30 to crit chance and crit damage. Let's say my companions. It is likely that the research contained in the ancient treatises and archival repositories of the Adeptus Mechanicus will provide factual information on similar precedent. I could spare some time. I can spare some of my computing power to find such a case and provide my brothers and sisters with the information that is necessary to win this dispute. I believe that the chronicles of the Amalinian Conclave describe mystical miracles witnessed by zealots while praying at an ancient banner of St. Caprius. Should the Crucible perform a similar miracle, then no doubts will remain that it is indeed a holy relic and not property of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Shireen, do you know the best motivation to make your enemies ripe for the compromise? The danger of losing any sort of battle. It is within your power to make the Crucible, to take the Crucible for yourself using the privileges of the war warrants if you so desire. Why do you not imply such a possibility to the parties involved? I still think that the persuasion one is best. Yeah, we're gonna go with Cassia's idea. At some time, the Crucible revealed a miraculous vision. Sacred images of martyrs appeared before the awestruck witnesses and blessed the ancient artifact. Even though some claimed to have caught a glimpse of some suspicious individuals operating lens machines, most of those present acknowledged the fact that this miracle and the status of the Crucible as a relic. Jesus, I am not doing well. I'm not doing well. Explorers have made peace with their loss and asked permission to conduct several of their own rituals with the Crucible. When the tech liturgies have been completed, the tech priest departed Falstone. Research into the Crucible has identified it as a device for surface terraforming. Fueled by the geothermal energy of the planet, it could turn a wasteland into a blooming garden. However, a way to launch it is yet to be found. Okay. I do actually have Phlogiston now. Hmm. Okay, so what do we got? What does this one do? Profit factor, mechanisms, weapons, and a contract. God damn it. You were gone for a second there. I am being gone for more and more time. I think we're going to do this one. I think we're going to do this one. All right, Dargonus. So what do we got? We got Emporium. Oh, that's right. I just did this. This has started. We do not have a Kiavagamo going. Go away. Fangs of Janus macro weapons. 6 shots, dealing 22 damage. And it is plasma, so no flak. So I can't get that. Security goes up, profit factor goes up, weapons times 3, Fangs of Justice macro. Okay, what about unwelcome guests? Heretic and Xeno artifacts, Xeno tech. What is this one? +5 bonus to attack. That's unused. That doesn't matter. Once per battle, can be used to immediately remove all bleeding, burning, or toxic effects from enemies in a 10 cell radius. These enemies receive 8 impact damage with 20% armor pen. Wait, what? Tech use over 10 plus 5 times the number of stacks removed from the target. So this is 1. So it'd be tech use over 15. So, like, you actually don't want that. Wait, what the fuck? Wait. 10 plus 5 times number of stacks removed. So you want fewer stacks? Am I reading this correctly? Or am I just, like, so sleepy that I'm retarded? Or is this tech use over 10, like, parentheses, and then parentheses 5 times the number of stacks removed from the target? Is that what it is? Like, is this... It has to be that. It has to be that. This has to be 2 separate... Yeah, so this is tech use. Okay. My sleepy brain was just not able to comprehend what the hell I was looking at here. Okay, so this is tech use over 10. And then 5 times number of stacks removed from the target, and then you add those two together, and you get the... Okay, that's what that does. This is something... If I put this is actually insanely strong. Because Cabela can get a ton of stacks on somebody very, very quickly. Plus, these are also very useful for... Yeah, so we're going to do this one. Like, these are good. This is good. This does a lot of damage, but it doesn't allow for flak, which is really, really unfortunate. Maybe I'm overvaluing this item, but this item just seems, like, incredibly busted. Like, I'm not even going to lie. All right, so we got stuff working here. Okay, I don't know why it had me leave Dargonus, because I did not mean to leave Dargonus, but whatever. Turn after turn, the unceasing stream of petitioners pours through the palace doors. The strong-willed wait patiently, while the weak-willed try everything they can to get ahead of others. That's all it takes to be considered strong or weak-willed, is just how patient you are. I don't feel like that's how that works. Greetings, Protocol. Welcome to the Palace of the Adeptus Administratum, your lordship. Please follow me. Continue this direction. Your visit has been locked. Okay. First off, we have goods. Second off, we have this, whatever this is. Dusty note. Elim, I know it hasn't even been a full cycle since I was appointed, but please cover for me with the Master of Seals for the Emperor's sake. I completely forgot about what an extremely important seal. I'm going to run upstairs to do it. I don't think it'll take long. I'll be back within a couple of hours. The note is covered in a thick layer of dust, just like the table on which it lies. Towering piles of papers and endless shelves heaving with ledgers evoke special reverence for the laws of the God Emperor and the hearts of the servants of the Adeptus Administratum. Oh, wait, what was that? Wait, what was that? The parchment looks grease-marked and old, as though it had passed through many, many pairs of hands. Servant to the Imperium, Elias Tantanol filed a declaration with the Adeptus Administratum that he is the sole heir of House Tantanol and the legal sovereign of the northern continent of the planet Ergota Rex. According to the submission, Elias Tantanol cannot exercise his right to this inheritance, as the wider family tree includes an individual who shares his full legal name. According to the petitioner, this individual is his great-grandfather. Given the loss of documents confirming the death of the second claimant to the inheritance, Elias Tantanol is petitioning for confirmation of this relative's death and permission for the enactment of his inheritance rights. Petition received, preliminary review period up to 15 Terran years. Forwarded for review 23 Terran years, 4 cycles from date of submission. Request for a copy of the death certificate of Elias Tantanol sent to the archive of the department. 28 years. Request rejected. It was another 11 years for it to be rejected. Second request sent to the archive, 44 years. Request approved, 52 years. After 48 repeated petitions from Elias Tantanol, a third request was sent to the archive. 79 Terran years, 7 cycles from date of submission. Copy of death certificate of Elias Tantanol, great-grandfather to the petitioners. Received, 84 Terran years. Documents forwarded for formulation of decision granting permission. Holy shit. Petition for the enactment of inheritance rights following the death of Elias Tantanol and for the issuance of a copy of the death certificate received from the deceased's daughter, Eliaza Tantanol. 114 Terran years, 11 cycles from date of submission. Fucking hell, I thought the U.S. government sucked balls. Jesus Christ. 114 years! And the dude waiting died 106 years. So 8 years after the man died, he finally got his inheritance. The VMP, the DMV, I believe, is the term you're looking for. And, like, you know what the funny thing about that is? I've never had an issue with, like, exceedingly long wait times at the DMV. I just don't know where that came from. Like, most of the time, like, yeah, there's a line, usually. But I'm usually in and out within a half hour. And, like, most of the time, it's much quicker than that. It's like, just fucking bring a newspaper. If you don't have a phone to play on. Like, quit bitching. Sacred Scroll, the 1005 admonitions of Master of Inventory Avasilis to the Adeptus, to the Adepts of the Administratum. Equal of Lavalia, the Impartial, first Master of Seals of the Coronis Expanse. Alright, what do you have to say? Auditing the reissuance of the Great Tithe Payment documentation in the last 2,836 Terran years, entries have been solicited to the okay. Just like, you owe the tax man your money. Basically what we're getting at. Master of Seals. An ancient-looking woman in a voluminous robe peers at you critically through her ocular lenses when you descend into the bowels of her bureaucratic domain. Another noble bypassing the queue under the pretext of just wanted to ask. All you highborn ever want is just to ask. But what about protocol? That's what I'm asking. Who's gonna follow protocol? I'm the rogue trader? I glances at you and whispers, what? So I paid off a few clerks to let us skip the queue, Shireen. Your time is more important to me than any little formalities. Very well, don't just stand there, you're here now, or do you think the Master of Seals has nothing better to do than receive unexpected visitors? The old woman beckons over a servo skull floating nearby. Begin entry. Current hour, current turn, current cycle, 41st millennium. Metal manipulators immediately begin furiously clacking, taking dictation. My companion wishes to obtain a Mercatum Tabula Official. I take it you are her sponsor. In that case, you must submit a written application in conformity with template 404.01, as well as written permission for the processing and notarization of the personal data of your most sacred personage. Without it, I cannot issue Mistress Haydari. Haydari, the form for collecting the seals required to obtain... We will discuss that when Terry Von Valenci has prepared the primary documentation. Surveys the room and slowly removes her hand from the handle of her weapon. There's only one thing that can kill you here, and that is old age. Complete it. Stuff and things and boring stuff. Next is the consent form for the processing and notarization of the personal data of your most sacred personage. Give your written consent. Protocol executed. Application received. Processed. Approved. The servo skull scribe taps out each word. What's that you were saying about seals? Here's your document, Mistress Haydari. Unfortunately, it does not yet have the legal force. I can certify it as a sacred Mercatum Tabula Official once it has received 2 seals of approval. They're easy to obtain. In the Imperium Court Administratum, servitors have been handling such tasks for over 50 years. There's one such servitor here on Dargonus at the Rogue Trader's Palace. The second is duty-bound to keep the seal in the Talikos Epsilon system. Please do return once you have prepared the documents. Okay, well, that's done. Hooray, we did it. Oh man. That was so exciting. That was so exciting! Hey! Woohoo! Oh my god. I'm actually surprised that there's doesn't really seem to be a whole hell of a lot going on here on Dargonus. Like, the quests that I have are all, like, telling me to go off-world already. Most well-protected, well-run planet. Should be. Makes sense that there's not a lot of problems. I mean, yeah. This is Nadari. My patience is not easily exhausted. We are coming very close. I shall repeat myself again. No, I will not be issuing... See the family resemblance with Abelard now. You cannot see farther than your own nose, my dear Clementia. It wasn't a bribe. It was a... Let the road trader decide. Man, I wish I could have actually read those things. Your lordship, I apologize for this ugly scene, but might I ask you to rein in Mr. Sadari to put a stop to her inflammatory actions towards me? There's not a lot going on. Yeah. Those competent people should be leading here. Yeah. I mean, all of this is true. I was just, you know, expecting more chaos. As the Exalted One is my witness, Shireen, I've tried everything I could to spare you any unnecessary headache over the seals of the Mercatum Tabula Official. I even showed this aid with a temporary, worse than a sandstorm, of the certificate with your signature. But your Chancellor merely kept batting me away with her flail of baseless denials. I suspect that the reason for this has nothing to do with my humble personage. Prisoner Clementia purses her lips and glowers at Jai. Oh no, this isn't about me at all. Jai narrows her eyes as she peers into Clementia's face, until the latter finally looks away. I see. Well, Chancellor, will you tell us about yourself, or should I help you? What's the matter? I'm afraid that my words may anger your lordship. Clementia lowers her head in shame as if offering it up to be removed from her shoulders. The seal you're looking for was lost over a quarter of a century ago. Her ladyship Theodore von Valancius ordered a new one to be delivered from the Imperium, but, as you well know, we are a long way from Holy Terra, and with warp storms ravaging the Corrod's expanse, we have been unable to receive a replacement to this day. I presume the one responsible is punished promptly and harshly? Rest assured, Theodore von Valancius ordered to have the malefactor dealt with accordingly. Servitude in perpetuitas, your lordship. He now performs his duties to the Imperium without reservation or error. However, one of the worlds under Caligos Winterscale's rule, like Dargonus, was granted the honor of keeping the sacred sigils of the Administratum. The archives of House von Valancius mention 3 systems that are presently under the control of House Winterscale. Those would be the Forgotten Twins, Landgren's Belt, and the Nameless Star. I'm confident that the Administratum Palace is located on one of the planets there. Must be like 150. Well, like, they were saying that if you're rich in the 40k universe, like, medicine and, like, I mean, like, people just live for centuries. Like, they can't just live for centuries. Even without, like, implants and shit. These, like, 130, actually. Yeah, I don't think we've seen, like, a straight-up year. I think we had a similar conversation about this a while ago, because, and he's still fighting, and he's a fucking monster. He is an absolute beast as well. We have a better chance of finding the seal in the pocket of some rich collector or fence than on a remote world owned by one of your rivals, Shireen. I suggest we make contact with any traders we may encounter in our travels. People in my line of work tend to have a good eye for such things. There's every possibility that someone has waited their whole life to fleece or to return their great relic to its rightful owner. Oh, by all means, Shireen, I dare not waste any more of the precious balm that is your time on matters related to me, if I may excuse myself. Okay. That was it. So there is a fetch quest involved. Hooray! And that should just straight up be it. Man, it took us like 7 hours to get through Janus, and that was with me being fairly, like, actually awake for the entirety of it. Also, I was lied to. Somebody told me that I was going to get a whole bunch of extractums, and I didn't get a damn thing. Oh, I did get it. I guess I got 3. But that might have also been... Oh, wait, no, I think that was from one of the assignments that I finished. Yeah, somebody said that I was going to get like 10 from fucking me. Lies, lies and slander. Oh, there's a seal on Janus? You're imagining that? I don't think I am. I'm fairly certain that that was something that was explicitly stated. Dude, okay, one thing that really frustrates me is like, okay, so I have 7 of these. That's actually kind of wild. Like there is a trail here and then here, right? Like I have a road here. I should be able to just click here and just go via the trails that have already been discovered. I should be able to do that. But it's trying to tell me that I need to chart a new course here. That is incredibly frustrating. Because, like, I can't even just go here. This is a place that I've already been to. I should be able to, like... Like, if we look at this, like, each of these is one of the nodes on, like, the Kingmaker map or the Wrath map. You're expecting it to path the full route for you. You have to move one space at a time. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Is if you already have a clear, like, okay, I could say, okay, fine. I would have to go here to go to the new Uncharted system. Right? Fine. Sure, whatever. Once I have already discovered the route to the place, it should allow me to just be like, oh, okay, this is the path that you would take to get there. Just like it does in Wrath, just like it does in Kingmaker. If you look at each of these as like a node on one of those maps, you should be able to do that. Yes, those maps also make you go to the nearest node, and then you have to manually go to the next one if you haven't already discovered it. But once you've discovered it, I should just be able to click on this, and then it jumps here and jumps here. it's just very frustrating that I have to jump to each one individually because in Wrath Kingmaker, you're moving on the map as time passes, and you could stop movement part way between nodes because something time passing. Yeah. In this game, it'll give you an event every time you jump. That's fine. Like, that's the thing. I don't mind that it's going to be like, okay, you do this, and it's like, it's just the the frustration is killing me. Yeah, I don't mind if it gives me an encounter each time. I mean, you could, so here's the thing. So, for example, if we do this, right? And I'm like, okay, I want to go here, right? There's obviously a path to here. You click here. It's like, okay, this is the path that you're going to take, right? So because I did this, actually, I'm going to make this safe. I'm going to spend 3 to make that safe. What was I saying? Okay, so say I want to go here, right? I click here. It's like, oh, you have to the fastest path is you jump down here and then you go. Well, that actually for this one, it would literally just be 2 jumps because I actually do have a path straight there from here, right? Because I jumped straight there from there. But like, optimal gameplay is clearly to connect every important space on the map to Dargonus, so nothing is more than 3 jumps away regardless. That's fair. Like, which one is this? This is Kiavagama? Yeah. The officer on one of the lower decks stopped providing status reports. 3 days have passed since the Vox system broadcasted anything other than subdued moans and wet slapping noises. An enforcer squad sent to investigate reported the deaths of the Lord had regressed to animals and succumbed to depravity. The connection with the squad was shortly lost. The High Missionary of the Adeptus Ministorum became flush with fury and condemned these as designs of the archenemy. The hotbed of heresy was cleansed with fire and prayer. What the fuck? Alright, sure, why not? Out new routes. Ah, so this was the dead end that was being described yesterday. Alright, what do we got? We have a pilgrim. We have many planets. Nothing. After analyzing the augur data, the officers were surprised to discover that the planet was once covered with oceans. Long ago, an unknown cataclysm caused the seas to dry out and turn the world into a lifeless desert. The most amazing discovery of all was the skeletal remains of a colossal oceanic organisms, some large enough to be seen from orbit. That's wild. Huh. Yeah, so basically what I was trying to, I think I got distracted and lost my train of thought. So basically on the overworld map, what I would like to see is like you can set up a long distance jump and be like, okay, so and like, okay, first off, it's like, do you want to chart a direct route or do you want to take the quickest route to it. And if you say take the quickest route, it'll start going, and then after each thing, it's like continue or stop, continue or stop, continue or stop. And then that way, you know, it's just you just click once and then you just start the path, and then you can stop at any time if, you know, your ship starts taking too much damage or something. I think that would be a much better setup than just you have to individually click every single space. Wow. Place is like fucking empty. Wait, we've run into Pilgrim before, right? Ask why the Pilgrim needs Phlogiston. The captain's coarse laughter echoes forth from the Vox. Phlogiston is a part and parcel of many different aspects of life in the Imperium. How exactly his customers are going to use it is none of his concern. All that the Pilgrim promises that the Phlogiston will be used for the good of humanity. Jai immediately remarks that someone without a name is not to be trusted. Deals with such people do not tend to end well. If she were you, she would first find out his secrets and then scrupulously remove him from the equation. Pascal becomes visibly animated at the mention of Phlogiston. Though indifferent to the prospect of a deal with a shadowy individual, the Magos nonetheless recommends that you find out more about the Phlogiston deposits. Your own protectorate would benefit from the knowledge. Sister Argenta sincerely believes the words of the Pilgrim. A cowl or a golden aquila are no prerequisites for being his true servant. If the captain sincerely wants to help the Imperium, perhaps by his own methods, there's nothing questionable about extending a helping hand. The captain of the Dark Piercer is in the best of spirits and gratitude for your invaluable help. He sent you a small box containing ancient maps and documents. They appear to speak of a certain imperial world lost many centuries ago. Then, in a somewhat conspiratorial tone, the Pilgrim relates a story about a standoff between two Xenos fleets, he was told by an acquaintance. The person in question, sadly enough, died at the hands of the Inquisition before they were able to pass on the coordinates for the crash site of one of the Xenos ships. However, the Pilgrim knows for a fact that the vessel met its demise on an ocean world. Okay. It's marginally better than just clicking to move to the next thing on the path, other than it maybe giving you a navigation line for the shortest route. Yeah, that's what's like. I mean, they did it in the other games. Right? Like, these are things that happened in the other games. I could do 2 to make it unsafe. Plasma drive chambers have been searched and the conspirator apprehended and neutralized. The interrogation will begin shortly if your lordship is arranged to an end. Oh, shit. During the warp journey, the augurs discovered a strange object that had been following the rogue trader's void ship for several hours. Judging by the distorted telemetry, it was a strangely shaped vessel of Xeno origin. The unidentified pursuer tried to approach the void ship several times, allowing the augurs to observe the shimmering energy sails unfurled among the shifting currents of the warp. The strange chase ended after the mysterious ship vanished in the depths of the Sea of Souls. Okay. So nothing really happened then. Back to the bridge. Okay, so where... Plasma drive chamber. Yeah, I am always a fan of minimizing the number of clicks that you have to make on an overworld map. The man kneeling before you has an ungainly build, a stubborn jaw, and a heavy gaze. He looks no different from any other worker in this compartment, except for the tattoo on his forearm, its design resembling a worm devouring a star. Your lordship, this serf was arrested on suspicion of stealing machine components. He was searched and found to be carrying a strange weapon built from the parts. We also discovered symbols matching the description you provided. Sourbeck looks at her prey with vicious excitement. By the prisoner. The pigment of the tattoo looks fresh, standing out starkly against the color of his skin, which means it is a very recent addition. You look closely and you notice a pair of scars at the base of his neck, suspiciously reminiscent of an almost healed bite. Who is this man? Shauf Galai. Servant of the blessed Lathe Beta 2 Diligence. Low-ranking worker, easily replaceable. No apparent signs of mutation. Maybe you exceeded my expectations. We are honored to be of service to your lordship. The Master of Arms offers you a fervent bow. If you like talking to you, prisoner gives you a smile, the smile of a man condemned, and snaps. I've got nothing to say to you, heretic. Choking with rage, Sourbeck grabs the maul from her belt. She raps, allow me, Lord Captain, please. I will oversee this Dargonus. You're a false believer, a fake captain. You're leading people into the gloom of heresy, away from salvation. His soul is pale, almost colorless, but alien hues have seeped into it, unthinkable and insane, and they came from without. I'll oversee the interrogation myself. As you command, although I believe the zealot will require some effort, questioning fanatics is a long and exhilarating process. And once again, the Lord Captain is doing his subject's work for them, dirty, bloody work. Medicaid test succeeded. The chemical in concoction burns the man's mind from within. His muscles twitch, tense to the point of his sinew cracking. A torrent of nightmares born from his subconscious assaults his brain, but he cannot even scream. He moans, choking on his own saliva. The man whimpers incoherently, but grits his teeth. Your song, I hear it, I won't break. Not much longer, your lordship. Well, we got 100% on this one. The screams of pain eventually give way to weak, long wails. The man's body lies broken, slashed, cut open, and burnt. His ruptured skin reveals open fractures and torn tendons. His eyes widen in terror at your smallest movement in his direction. Stop all talk! A gurgling sob falls from the man's lips. Prisoner is ready to cooperate, your lordship. Whom do you serve? The cult of the ravenous star, the true believers, the righteous, the purest congregation, they who hear the songs of his angel. His angel, is that the old sorcerer who appeared before me and promised my demise? Did he brainwash you all, or is it someone else leading you? Old sorcerer? No, the angel is not of the woeful human form. He is splendor. His visage is the divine inspiration of the many-armed emperor. You, faithless one, were granted the honor of gazing upon the Magus, our good shepherd, our messenger. The captain lets out a deranged chuckle. If you beheld the angel, you would scratch your own brain out through your eye sockets, for you would realize the depth of your wickedness before him. Many armed? Blast it, Lord Captain. We are dealing with an extremely dangerous Xenos cult that excels at hiding among humans. What do you know about our enemy? Very little. As per regulations, every Master at Arms passes on special instructions to their successor. Instructions that more resemble disturbing tales. Some of them mention genetic cults, covert clans, cliques, and sects that all share one common trait: Xenos infestation. These things pass themselves off as ordinary people, as rabble or preachers, corrupting new groups. They pray to their unholy idol, which they often refer to as the many-armed emperor. They create ever-growing families and produce offspring, hideous at first, but with each new generation, more and more human in appearance. And then they rise up. Their arms, Lord Captain. These Xenos have more arms than normal. They twist and pervert our faith, probably for the sole reason that it gives them blasphemous pleasure. Yeah. Why among the rabble? The Lord takes up plenty of dark corners for the Xenos to lie in wait. Commoners are too dull-witted and spineless to identify the threat before it is too late. And at the same time, they are dull-witted and spineless enough to serve as cannon fodder, to be thrown at the cult's enemies when the uprising begins. What's the objective? Their end goal is always mutiny. They can prepare for many generations, accumulating weapons and numbers, until one day they attack. That day is their day of revelation, the apotheosis the apotheosis of their profane faith. They think that on that day their blasphemous star children will descend from the void and elevate their worshippers. Let's return to interrogating. How did the conspirators recruit you? I believed, I found him, I bowed to him, his angel's kin granted me a revelation, it entered my flesh, it let me join the congregation. To know everything about your vile cult. We believe in the many-armed emperor, he who waits for his children to cast out into the unknowable abyss. He is kind, merciful, he uproots tyrannies of evil. He sends his angel to the righteous, and angels can follow. The man lowers his gaze with an expression of surprise. It seems he has described his paltry religion in its entirety. This is a pawn, a mindless tool. He was brainwashed and forced into submission. He is not even a distributor of ideology. He was merely fed the rudiments and without trusting him with anything important, they sent him out to serve and die. What are you plotting? Death, yours. Fate, Captain. The faithful are already aiming at your heart. I was ordered to stockpile weapons so that when the fateful hour comes, the righteous would not stand unarmed. Where are you hiding? Where are your leaders? In a sanctuary, a tomb for heretics, a quiet place. The dynastic crypt. The vermin have infiltrated the crypt, holding the bodies of the worthiest servants of the dynasty. No one is allowed inside, save for the Lord Captain's personal revenue. And they dared, but how? Crypt's defenses are impenetrable. Yes, your lordship, we must attack now while we still have the element of surprise. I will lead the strike force, but I will require your presence and Confessor Adalbart's help. Fierce Machine spirits guard the dead. They won't let an armed troop pass without a direct command from the rogue trader and the ring of the ship's confessor. I'll meet you at the doors. And this vile scum, with your permission, I'll throw out of the airlock. I doubt he'll be of any further use. Out the airlock he goes. It'll be done, your lordship. You make out a faded symbol on one of the tiles, a serpent and a star. There appears to be someone's stash behind it, but the stash has been long abandoned. Oh, what did we find? Hey.
The divine watches over us.
Uh-oh. What do we got? Esteemed Tech Priest Deltar, this is unacceptable. For the 10th time, you've sent us the same faulty servitors. It's been over 2 weeks, and we still can't raise the lift that's stuck between our platform and platform 92M. All because of your servitors. For the love of the throne, decommission these things if you can't fix them. Respectfully, Ship Foreman Nike. Nige? Why does it want me to turn off the servitors? I mean, I guess turning off the servitors isn't really that big of a deal. Oh, turn the servitor. What the fuck? Okay. Whereas range attacks inflict 0 armor pen over 5 levels of bleeding on their targets. Wait, why 0? Armor pen over 5. Enemies within the area of attack. Wait. If I have this equipped on my sniper. Is this better? It's slowed. If I have this on my sniper, that's like a crazy range. Huh. Interesting. Ooh. This is not a bad one. And it's actually, hers isn't really that big of a deal. Yeah, we'll do that. Why is it suddenly 3? Wait, why does it go from 5 to 3? Hold up now. This doesn't have anything to do with armor pen. Whatever. It's still decent on her. So we just come back here. Bridge. Okay. I don't want to get into a combat with 7 minutes left. I don't want to get into a combat with 7 minutes left. So what I will do is we will come over here. I'm actually going to voidship crypt. Actually make a save and name it so that I know what to do when we come back next week. But yeah, I am going to leave it at that because, as I said, I don't want to go down there and immediately get into like a long cutscene, into a combat, into another cutscene, and then suddenly I'm 15 minutes late getting ready for work again. So we're going to call it here. But before I go, as I have been doing lately, if you are over on the YouTube side of things and you haven't done so already, I would very much appreciate it if you would hit that like and subscribe button. Those both help the channel out quite a bit. If you're over on the Kick side, if you want to hit that follow button, it's also very much appreciated. If you would like to financially support the stream and myself on YouTube, I have both my Patreon and my Throne links in the description down below. And if you're over on Kick, I do have subscriptions available there as well. Other than that, next week on Tuesday, hi Taco, bye Taco. On Tuesday, we will be finishing up the Dodrio solo run, the penultimate run of the Pokemon Red solo series. We only have one more after that. On Wednesday, I'll be starting Devil May Cry 4. We finished DMC 3 this past week, so I'll be starting Devil May Cry 4 next Wednesday. No stream on Thursday or tomorrow or Monday, as always. And then next Friday, we'll be back and we'll be heading down into the crypts. And next Saturday, we will also be doing more rogue tradering. So, that is the plan. That is the plan for the next week. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out and watching. I appreciate y'all as always. And as always, I hope you all enjoyed the stream. I hope you all have a good evening. And I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.